I strongly believe the Antichrist will come from the Middle East. Can you imagine the plot twist? Ishmael, the son of a servant, fathered an entire race that brought upon the Antichrist. Just a thought. I don't think so. I mean, I think that's what a lot of Christian churches have wanted, that the Antichrist will come out of the Middle East or Saudi Arabia. No. Saudi Arabia, God did exactly with Saudi Arabia what he planned. It's Ishmael. But I guess some Christian churches have taught that Isaac was favored over Ishmael. It's not true. I mean, but they say it because, no, Isaac had the covenant relationship. Yeah, but God didn't favor a line until Isaac had 2 sons, which was Jacob and Esau. So literally, Isaac's 2 sons is when God said, I'm going to be good with this line and not this one. So Ishmael wasn't even part of that. Ishmael was equal with Isaac. But some Christians have been taught that Ishmael was born of the flesh, Isaac. No, that's not true either. God saw them as equal. So many things that seminary school has taught people is wrong, especially about Revelations. That book is the beginning, or the beginning and end. If you take the beginning, like the first several chapters of the beginning of Revelations and the last several chapters, it's like if you cut those out, all that middle in between there, that's all chronologically out of order in the middle of Revelations. Because Revelations has been playing out since John finished writing it. It's happened over many different histories, many generations. And the middle of that book is out of chronological order. So then it's easy for the Antichrist to take those different sections and toy with them. When a temple is built in the Middle East, the 3rd temple, the Antichrist. That's what I mean. It's like when a peace deal is signed in the Middle East, the Antichrist will rise. And there are a ton of evangelical Christians and other churches that teach this nonsense. And it's like, you should not have went to Satan's seminary school. I mean, when God literally says the teacher is the Holy Spirit, then you should rely on that being the teacher and not on man. Yeah, just a thought. Saudi Arabia has been they don't like the terrorism stuff either. In fact, they've been a strong ally of ours and with Israel to counter terrorism. Like the Islamic fundamentalist takeover that's happening in the West right now, especially like in the UK and France and all that. First of all, that's a result of people turning their back on the biblical God and becoming too diverse. I mean, even God isn't as diverse as liberals. Yeah, he's not the biblical God. He has some standards. But this Islamic takeover that if you even bring up, you're called Islamic phobia. Yeah, that's just nonsense to me. It's not a religious movement. I don't care how much they claim they are. They're just a political movement that has no class and no respect. Like to go into other people's countries and then force your culture on them? Don't think so. I don't care what you call me. I will say it straight. That's what you're doing. Would I blame Saudi Arabia for that? No. No. Do they honor the Quran? Yeah, they do. But there's been fundamentalists through the Quran, unfortunately. But then you could but did God, is that the way it happened because God knew that's what would happen? I'm not saying God wanted it. I'm just saying, that whole, it all comes down to that whole we're special people kind of thing. Yeah. I've said before, I often wonder, God, why did you do that? Why did you say these are chosen people? And I think he did that because he'll show it and it never mattered. It was never going to matter. He knew that then there would be some chosen people that would get all uppity like the Pharisees did. And even to this day, those Pharisees are still, they're not recognized as Pharisees, but will say, I don't care if you're a Christian, you have to become a Jew. Are you out of your mind? Like, are you out of your mind? Still not getting it. Still not getting what, that to Jesus, to God, what it's always been about is what he said. I will judge by the heart. I'm not going to judge. Where did you come from, the line of David? You have to really sit back and think about some of this stuff. So when people say that, Ishmael, that Isaac was favored over Ishmael, no, he wasn't. Not by God, maybe by this world's standards, but this world is what the problem is with itself. Like, does it matter that Ishmael was born of a mistress? Because Hagar was Abraham's mistress. Where Sarah was the wife of Abraham and had Isaac. What? So that somehow makes it better? Where is that in the Bible? It's not. God makes it encourages Abraham not to feel unsettled about Hagar and Ishmael being sent away. They were because Sarah got, her panties in a bunch because she was the wife of Abraham. And Ishmael was from his mistress. Yeah, so then you're somehow, all Christians in the world think that somehow that means God favored Isaac. No, God said, I'm going to make a covenant with Isaac. But he said, don't worry, Abraham, I'm going to make, with your other son Ishmael, I'm going to make a great nation. So it's like, in a way, it's like this, this continual, struggle, because then when Jesus came, you can understand why his anger so much was with these leaders of the Jewish sect. Of the temples. It was because you're not, my father, again, going back to my father doesn't know you. My father doesn't know you because there's no heart there. Everything is about your traditions, you doing this law stuff, which my father doesn't. He wants to know you. That's always been what it's about. The fact that you got caught up in genealogy and the sons of David and the Davidic line is the whole problem to begin with. So God did it that way because then he surveils and he watches and, I see this group thinks they're special. So I'll remember that. I see this group thinks that they're not so special because they don't come from the Davidic line or they don't come from this area. So I will make sure when I shake things all upside down that the whole world will find out who truly are the real chosen people.